Kia ora, very warm welcome into the new season of The Form, and what a weekend to be back to with the Group 2 Waikato Stud Foxbridge Plate. And joining us this week on The Form will be Bevan Sweeney, Aidan Rodley and Leith Innes, and we've got so much to discuss, including the feature out of Te Rapa that will be the Waikato Stud Foxbridge Plate, featuring the likes of Pierre, the racetrackers, the Palmerston North preview as well. This weekend's harness preview with the Whale. We look forward to the Group 3 Morris Holmes Vase down at Addington on Friday night. Our Te Rapa preview for the undercard and our best bets. We've got the tipsters right throughout the country to hopefully find you a winner or two for the weekend. Our feature preview is out of Te Rapa, so Aidan Rodley, let's head to you. What can we expect on Saturday, weather and track-wise?
Well, hopefully all good. It's been beautiful weather here in the city of the future. The last couple of days, a really heavy frost this morning. Currently, the track conditions sit at a heavy 9, but talking to Butch Castles, they're hoping to get that back to an 8 today and back to a 7 for race day on Saturday. 15 degrees the high. It will be cold in the morning, but ideal conditions ideally for this year's Waikato Stud Foxbridge Plate.
Well, let's take a look at the market for it. Is race number 8 on the program. Over the 1,200 metres, a couple of horses already been backed in the Skewiff, up the top at $4.80. Pierre at $5, Dragon Leap at $5.50, and Darcy Labella, who finished 4th in the race last season, at $6. Then you've got a runner like Mustang Valley at 9s. Pierre Leith, second favourite, has drawn wide though, barrier 14 over the 1,200. So where have you got him sitting in the race?
Yeah, barrier 14 is going to be a little tricky for Sam. Hopefully, for Sam's sake, the ballots come out and he'll start from barrier 11. But look, Johnny in the race, you know, if the ballots do come out, he'll start from 9. He's a natural leader in the race, and we were rocks drawn outside them, and you know, Sam should be able to get a nice bit of cover just in behind the leaders, I think.
And what's plan B, you think, if that doesn't happen?
Yeah, well, if he doesn't jump out, he's going to have to obviously go back. But, you know, you got Skewiff from barrier 4. Look, she jumped out really well at the trials last week. We're going to see that soon. And, you know, Opie will definitely hold them out for the first 100 metres and take a sit. And Dragon Leap will go back from his outside gate.
Right, well, let's talk about Pierre. He obviously won 2,000 guineas last season and then had this trial. What did you make of it? Yeah,
he was super, wasn't he, Pip? Like he was outside the leader. Sam didn't do too much on him. The last sort of 200 metres, he gave him a little bit of a squeeze, but he's gone to the line under a bit of a hold, and by all of the reports, he's trained on pretty well since then.
And Aidan, how much can you take out of this trial form?
Oh, excellent. He's returned as well as you could hope for as an early 4-year-old. Never easy from that transition from a 3-year-old getting into 4-year-old weight for age right at the beginning of the season, but the good ones handle it, don't they? And he was very good through his 3-year-old season, especially back in the spring, winning that Group 1 New Zealand 2,000 guineas at Riccarton. It is a step up, and that barrier draw makes it very hard. For that reason, I'd just be watching him on Saturday for mine.
Okay, well, the second runner we want to take a look at is from the Mark Walker stable with the Burgesons now, of course, too. And this is Skewiff. A very nice trial from the mare, too.
Yeah, you get a sort of a little bit of a tick in the box when Opie's down to ride 56.5 too. And look, he's won this race before on a number of occasions. And look, this trial was really good. You know, she carried a little bit of weight. The best thing I liked about the trial was when she's jumped out. She's normally a little bit tardy away, and obviously, with the barrier 4, Opie will take full advantage of this.
And Aidan, also, I think the key factor too is a plus that she tends to go on all tracks.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that was probably one of the best trials of the day from that Te Rapa meeting. Very good. This was the track gallop last week. She's on the outside in the Waikato Stud colours, so looking to win it for the sponsors as well, as they did with I Do back a few years ago. And of course, I Do went on and won the first leg of the Triple Crown at Hastings as well. This horse was competitive in Weight for Age Company at the end of last preparation, running second in Living Classic before running second in New Zealand Thoroughbred Breeder Stakes. But again, it is a step up. She's rated in the 70s, so it'll be interesting to just see what we get out of Skewiff. But what we've seen so far, she's building the right way.
And she's got the right man in the saddle after winning the race last year with Imperatriz. And speaking of Opie, we'll take a look at Dragon Leap. Wins on him fresh up here, Aidan, at Ruakaka with the top weight.
Really, really impressive, wasn't it? And good to see Dragon League come back in form like this. He'd run really well in Brisbane, so he had that residual fitness, and his overall record's outstanding. He's only been out of the money like 3 or 4 times. He's a weight for age performer. He seems to be getting better with age. He's as sound as they've had him by all accounts, talking to Andrew Scott on Wednesday morning at Matamata, and that was a soft win. He looks one of the key chances here with Warren Kennedy, an informed jockey in the saddle.
Yeah, he's certainly not going to lose anything in the jockeys' ranks. And, being an older horse, he had an easy little kill, and it's probably given him a little bit of boost as well. The only thing I'd say, he does look a little bit suited to right-handed racing, but they'll definitely know he's there.
They will. Well, that's the northern contenders. Let's head to the central districts and you, Bevan Sweeney. Alan Sharrock with Darcy Labella in the race. Finished 4th in this last season and she never looked back since.
Yeah, hello guys. I'm buzzing. Sun was up this morning. It was a bit of a frost, but at least the sun was up. We had great trials yesterday. That lead in to Hawke's Bay, and Saturday's going to be absolutely outstanding. So looking forward to this. She's quality. When you go back through her record, Darcy Labella, gee, she was brilliant last preparation. She put some really good horses to the sword. That was a good track gallop. Ideal to the outside. Might pay you to follow that horse where its next start is as well. But she's very, very competitive. I actually found her finding a decent spot a little bit further forward than that speed map. If she finds that, then she's going to be very competitive. The track drying out's not going to help her 100%. However, I don't doubt Al Sharrock, and certainly she deserves a really strong place in this year's Foxbridge.
Yes, she certainly does, Bevan. And what about this runner too from the Guy Lowry stable, We Will Rock? Obviously thinks a lot of him to take him to Randwick, and he proved that here with this brilliant performance.
Well, he's a good horse. Guys always suggested he's a good horse and he would not be coming home for no reason. I think the gate makes it very, very difficult for him to win. He's going to have to work really hard to get across to a gate, so I'm not sure Guy will push the button and take the sting out of him. So, yes. Look, he's a good chance, and if he'd drawn a gate, the money available on him would have been fantastic, but that gate just counts against him. The one positive about him is he's probably coming to the end of his preparation, a very fit horse against horses that are just beginning their preparations. I did want to ask a question of Aidan, actually. Does Skew With deserve to be favourite in this particular race? Aidan against some really proven horses. I'm not saying this horse can't win, and the horse is really in this race, but I'm a bit confused as how it is favourite in the race.
Yeah, it surprises me, I've got to say. She's, what's her rating? She's a 78 rated 4-year-old mare having her first start up in open weight for age company. Maybe a distance short of her best. We saw her at her best at 1,600 metres with the second to Legato and an 8-carat second in a Living Classic and a second in behind Belclair, who's a race rival in the Group 1 New Zealand Thoroughbred Breeders' Stakes at Pukekohe. But she has returned in very good order. So, yeah, I agree though. She's a surprise favourite for mine.
Bookies might be scared of the older OP Boss and Tiako combination. As we move to our trainers we want to catch up with, the top 3 in the market. We'll start with Pierre and Darren Weatherly and just asked him what he thought of his trial.
Yeah, his trial at Te Rapa was really, really good. We've had a few round table meetings as to whether we stayed here or off to Melbourne. We've decided the way he trialled at Te Rapa is probably the 1200 would suit him better than the 14 of the Memsey.
Look, hopefully he sort of comes with in the same sort of vein of form we were at Ruakaka, that, he's going to certainly be competitive. So, look, we couldn't be more pleased with him.
Well, I think she's taken the next step from what she's shown us, and she wasn't far off the very best as a 3-year-old, but it just looks as though she's gone to the next level.
Going from a 3-year-old in your own age group racing up to 4-year-old is a bit like going from schoolboy rugby to Super 12 rugby. So it'll be interesting. I feel he can handle it.
We think he's going really well. It's but Saturday's a strong field, and the main thing, if he can get some ground he can bounce off, he can really quicken. We're certainly going to be in action.
Well, I think she's physically stronger. She had a nice spell.
I'd be honest with you, I'd be surprised if Pierre's not in the top 4, and I would like to see Marley, he'll be back, minding his own business, smoking a pipe with Troy Harris on board, and if he can pass a few in the straight, we're really looking good for the mile at Hawke's Bay.
Skew-Off, I think, will run very well fresh, and now with the improving track conditions, that'll probably help. And Brando, as I say, he'll be better suited a bit later on, but he'll go a cheeky race.
After Saturday, we'll decide whether we go to Hawke's Bay for the 1400 or we go jump on a plane and head to Melbourne, or we could stay running the 1400 at Hastings, and if you happen to go okay, you could also consider the Golden Eagle. There's so many options, it's like having too many shoes in the wardrobe, isn't it? So it's a good problem to have, but yeah, look, I'm really looking forward to Saturday with them.
Well, it's a really nice field and there are so many chances, Leith. So who have you found?
Yeah, look, it's a very strong race. I'm going to go for the 4-year-old Pierre. I know he's got a tricky gate, but I think if Sam Weatherly can bounce him out and just sit behind the speed of Johnny, and just hopefully that track keeps improving, I think he's the one to beat. What do you reckon, Aidan?
I thought it was pretty even, but in the end I've defaulted to Dragon Leap. I thought it was just super last time out at Ruakaka. It was soft on the line, and there's just enough about where he sits in this race to say that there's going to be a really strong chance. I thought the biggest danger was actually the New Plymouth Raider in Darcy Labella. Bevan, who did you find? Did you go with the CD Raider, or have you found something else?
Well, I thought she was very close, but I agree with Leith. I think if Pierre is ridden positively out of the gates, I thought there was enough speed to allow this horse to slot in forward of midfield, and from there I think that trial suggested that Pierre is ready to go. But Darcy Labella is a close-up second.
And that's race number 8 on the program on Saturday, TAB Trackside 1. Nice, it's racetracker time. Horses or greyhounds that might have caught the eye, and hopefully we found one. Leith, who have you found for us?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to last Saturday at Ruakaka, a horse called Rising Tide. It's out of Sea Change, well bred. He's a 4-year-old gelding having his first start, and he was massive. He got knocked over at the start, and he couldn't quite get an out turning into the top of the straight, and look, the horse that won had all favours in front, and he came from second last. Mark him down, Rising Tide. He'll be winning a maiden anywhere in New Zealand next start.
I've also got a horse I think it'll be winning at fresh up start this season. A horse called Lantern Way was very, very competitive as a 2-year-old. Went to the trials at Awapuni a week or so ago, and I thought it was really, really soft. I'm just waiting to see where it lines up. I suspect that Lisa is waiting for better track conditions, but when it does line up, this horse, I think it's going to make a really good 3-year-old out of the Lisa Ladder team, who Lisa has an outstanding team at the moment going forward.
I'm going to stick with Lisa Ladder as well, Bevan, for my tracker. I'm going to take you to Hemi Redipes. So look at the horse here. He's 3 wide. And now Doubtful Sound, who wins the race, comes from 11th. He was one of the only horses on speed to stick around. Garden City from 10th into 3rd. Cicchini from 12th into 4th, and a bit cozy from midfield into 5th. It was a very good effort in a $35,000 rating 60. You don't see rating 60s of that sort of stake. So it was a good race. We'll go to Riccarton next week and be very competitive.
And I'm going for a really nice youngster out of Glenn Hodson's kennel, Logger for Life. This is him leading over the 457 metres. He just doesn't seem to like company coming around him at this stage in his career. Prior to this, he'd won around 4 in a row. He drops back to the 305 metres at Hattrick on Friday. He won his qualifying trial there in a 17.68. I think he goes home a winner despite the wide draw, and he's a dog just to follow. I think he'll go right through the grades, this dog, Logger for Life. A little bit green at this stage in his career over the middle distance, but he is a very, very nice greyhound. So this is what we're liking with our race trackers. Note them down, pop them in your race trackers on tab.co.nz. Awapuni is our other meeting on Saturday. So Bevan, weather and track, is it any better down in the central districts?
No, is the short answer, Philippa. We've had a lot of rain. It's been very, very wet, and the track will take a little bit to just get the base dried out, so when it does rain, we don't get that water table flushing back up. But it'll be better than recent times because we've had some really nice weather across the last couple of days. It'll still be a heavy 10. I can't really see it improving, and we will be running the inside bend there at Awapuni, which does favour those closer to speed. They can get a gap on them early. Just a couple of races to look at out of Awapuni, and we begin in race number 2 on the program here, where probably one of the more consistent gallopers in the Central Districts, Kahu Rock, goes here. He's at $2.30. Manolo 420 went a really nice race into the interprovincial last Saturday, but this is Kahu Rock and Bellissimo. Bellissimo will be competitive again, but geez, tough this horse. He rolled to the front here at Otaki. You thought, well, he's going to be under siege at some point, but just watch him at the line. He just runs away, really, and he's strong through the line. He's developed into a really good winter track horse. And 230, I think, is outstanding for you in this particular race. If he runs up to this, he wins for fun. And he is in really consistent form. It's been a fantastic preparation. I think the biggest danger might be Manolo, who can be a little bit hit and miss. And if you can see him here, you will see a really good effort from this horse. Blackwood Star is coming just to its outside. I think you can follow that horse when it's back in its own grade, but he just got down in the worst of it, but he found the line really nicely in a strong interprovincial on Saturday. I'm expecting him to go nicely again with a lightweight on his back. He's getting a 3 kilo claim of CL Butler, so that should make him very, very competitive. But I think I've given you the lead about this particular race. I think Kahu Rock is a home run if he runs up to his recent form in that particular race. He's getting in with a lightweight with the claim as well, so 56.5. Coming back to a rating 82 when he's won an open handicap prior to that. Why not? Kahu Rock, Roger Allen, I think they will be winning there on Saturday. And the other race quickly to have a look at in the Central Districts is race 7. It is the Courtesy Ford here. Strides well backed. He got well back at Otaki, flew home. Mr. Didgeridoo landed the money for the Sharrock team last time at $4. And then I've got my best value in this race. We'll talk shortly about that at around about $8.50. But Mr. Didgeridoo, he had a run at Otaki after winning on debut, and then the blinkers went on here. Now, it was a tough day of racing here at Taranaki, so he did a really good job to get a horse that races brilliantly there at New Plymouth in the Rosie Buchanan colours down towards the inside. Now, it took a fair bit of effort from Parks to get this across the line. He had to ride it from about the 600 metres, but it got there in the last stride, and it's owned by the illustrious owners themselves, Kemp and Sharrock. So I expect it'll go another good race, but it steps up very, very quickly. My selection in the race is going to be textbook, though. I love the fact this horse has had a freshen up. Its last 2 starts, it's been running on. It put 2 together prior to that. Really underrated horse, and it comes in at around about $8.50. So it's my best value on the program out of Awapuni Pit.
Looking forward to it, and of course there's an 8-race program starting at 12:35 on Saturday. It's time for a harness segment on the form with Craig Thompson. And Craig, it's really the road to the Cup underway with the Allied Security Morris Homes Vars on Friday night. Yeah,
great to join you on Philippa on the form on a Friday morning. Yeah, I really like this field. It's not a stellar field, but it is direct entry into the Cup and everyone wants to win it. Favourite Anything Goes, of course, came out of the National Handicap last week as we look at the market areas. $1.80. Actually bobbled away in this race, and he'll need to step a little bit better in here. All American Lovers better off in the handicaps this week. $4.50 for the strong Telfer team. The Falcon had a trial the other day, and of course Smithy's Terror at $13 ran 3rd in the Auckland Cup. Key video is the National Handicap. It's from a fortnight ago. Artie's Express in front has a gallop, changes the complexion of the race. As you can see, Anything Goes, and Nellie Rasmussen, who swoops to the front. Now in the black and white checkers right down the outside is All American Lover, the Group 1 winner. She closed in late here, and she was really good away from the standing start. This race would change if she got in front of Anything Goes. She's such a good beginner off the 10-metre handicap. If she could posse herself in between the two, the $4.50 I think would look pretty good. But I think they're the 2 standouts. That's a key video to it. Probably the other one you may want to include is definitely Smithy's Terror. You're in 3rd in the Auckland Cup behind Akuta and Selfish Shorty. Beat good horses home like Old Town Road. I don't mind him at $13. This race has been won by some roughies. Last year he's a sport. Maybe Smithy's Terror this year.
I like a bit of value. Well, now let's move on to race number 4. It is the Basildine Free-for-All Trot, and Midnight Dash, who's in the race, won it last year.
Yeah, one of my old favourites. He's one of those horses that flies under the radar, Midnight Dash, because he keeps banging into his stablemate, obviously Muscle Mountain, and he's done that in his previous 2 starts. And the video we're going to show is the video where he runs 3rd or 2nd behind Muscle Mountain in the Fred Shaw Memorial. Now that was at Group 1 level. strong field. So Muscle Mountain's obviously in front of the lime green. The horse we're highlighting is 3 back on the inside in the gold cap of Ricky May. You've got race rival Artie by the Hill, who's in between them. Midnight Dash's record fresh up is really good, and his 1980 record is equally as good. Now, he's been there and done that, where you've got the up-and-comers, the likes of Mystic Max, who's coming through age group trotting races, steps up against the big bangers for the first time, and I just thought maybe it's Midnight Dash's turn. Bookmakers gave you $4. I think that was okay. $3.50 is record. Mystic Max, real nice horse. I think he'll make his way to that open class ranks. 210 short enough for him. And Artie by the Hill had a trial the other day, real quiet trial for Robert and Jenna Dunn. Thought he found the line quite nicely. He's a quality trotter. Whether he's quite screwed down yet, we'll have to wait and see for Friday, but looking forward to see him going round.
Yeah, it's going to be a really nice meeting, and of course you'll be on track as well, Craig.
Yeah, really looking forward to being there on Friday night with Matthew Peden, senior bookmaker, harness bookmaker. We'll be there from 5 o'clock. We'll talk to all the leading participants, the likes of Mark Purden, grab the thoughts of John Dunn and all the relevant information.
Don't miss it. First race, 5:15, TAB Trackside 1 on Friday. It's our time for the new segment on the form, Leith's Trial Watcher, and we had great trials yesterday out of Taupo. Leith, what did you find?
Yeah, it was great to see those first 3 heats, and look, the track came back to a sort of soft 8, and it was just magic to see Legato Imperatrice out in this first heat, and look, our alley cat was pretty good. She ran around at pretty hard sectionals. They went at pretty much the same time as the Open 3 odds and Solidify. Imperatrice, Opie didn't do too much on her. She was massive to the line. Legato was to the eye a little bit disappointing, I thought. It's probably the first time in her career where she's actually sat outside the leader. She just, I wouldn't put a line for her, but I think once she gets to 1,400 metres and up to a mile, she's going to be, honestly, Ken Kelsey's got her ready for those Hawke's Bay races.
Well, another one Leith wants to touch on is Aromatic. Firstly, why did she take your eye, and what about the runner in behind?
Aromatic was okay. She was a stay presuming, and it was one of those days at Taupo. The first 3 trollers were all in front, so it was good to see her back. Tokyo Tycoon, he was a little bit disappointing, but they've got a lot of time from now to the Hawke's Bay Guineas to get him right. But geez, Lay Creek, she was the troller of the day. She was the only horse to make good ground up in that trial, and look, going to Hawke's Bay, I think she's the one that we're all going to have to beat on yesterday's trial.
And the winner, of course, hasn't come through the Foxbridge in the last 3 years. As we look at your third trial, Bonnie Lassie won. Obviously, Aidan Rodley would be quite happy with this performance.
Yeah, honestly, she wouldn't have been out of place if she lined up on Saturday in the Foxbridge Plate. Look, we all know the injuries that she had last season, but look, she's had a little bit of beach training, and she went to the line untested, and look, it's going to be exciting when she's ready to kick off.
Those were the trials out of Taupo, but Leith, you found another one for us.
Yeah, I'm going to take you back to August the 15th at Avondale, a horse called Monday Melody. He's a colt by Snitzel, owned by the Hermitage Hong Kong Investment, and trained by Andrew Scott and Lance O'Sullivan. This is a really exciting horse. Keep an eye on him. They've penciled him in for the maiden race at 6th of September, going back to Avondale. Joe Dorr was up this day, and yeah, if I was Aidan Rodley, I'd be trying to get one of his jockeys on this horse. I think this horse is going to have a really big future as a 3-year-old. Maybe a little spec at 31s and 2,000 guineas pip.
Yeah, I like that, and don't forget too, if he doesn't end up going there, you've got that future proof with the TAB, so note those down. That's what Leith's found for you out of the trials. Well, let's have a look at the undercard out of Te Rapa, and what an undercard it is as well, with the Pakuranga Hunt Cup, and it is headed by the Cossack, race number 4 at $1.60. You've got Raucous at $5.50 and Hey Happy at $6.50. We'll take you back to the Cossack. Obviously, Aidan, he has to have a very top weight, but boy, he's a good horse.
He's a super horse. He was just unlucky in the Wellington steeples when we last saw him. He didn't go down to Christchurch, so that has him ready to go. He ran on Tuesday in a high weight, and his run was exceptional. He's got this outstanding record at Te Rapa. He's won 4 from 5 there. We've seen him win big races there, Waikato Hurdles and Waikato Steeples, and he's clearly the horse to beat in this Pakuranga Hunt Cup, which is the key guide into the Great Northern. and I think he's just shaping as the horse to beat. We saw West Coast doing some very good things at Riccarton, but maybe the Cossack without the trip away. He's got the big weight again. We saw sort of the toll that took on horses like Happy Star and certainly West Coast in the Coral on the first day, but he was able to carry the big weight to Grand National success. He's a star jumper, the Cossack Leith, and he's going to take all sorts of beating in this Pakuranga Hunt Cup.
Yeah, 100% there. I'm with you, Aidan, and it's great to see Aaron, the king of the jumps racing, come back from Australia. He knows this horse so well, and like you said, he was pretty unlucky at Wellington. You felt sorry for the connections.
And the other race we want to touch on is a really nice 3-year-old affair over the 1,200 metres for the maidens. This is the market. Glamour Tycoon, $2.30 from the Marsh stable. Lupo Solitario at $4.50, and then you've got Hint at $8. Leith, who do you want to highlight first?
Look, Pip, this is it's going to be really good form out of this race as going forward. Maiden 3-year-old race. There's a number of horses that have won trials here. This is Glamour Tycoon. She ran second to Solidify. It was only her second start. She's had 2 starts at Te Rapa, and you know, I'd just give her the edge with the inside draw. She's drawn 2. Michael knows her, but like I said, there is a number of horses to watch in this race.
One thing out of this is Solidify. He's come out and won yesterday with a dazzling performance at Taupo, so that form's strong. And just like the form to be frank, which it has been on a good day as well. Have a look here at Hint and the trials form. There's some decent trials form as well. Sam Weatherly doing the riding for his sister and dad here. A pretty handy trial, but there's some good trialists leading into this league.
Yeah, there is. Like Hint was a $280,000 horse, you know, being by Zoostar. I know Darren Weatherly holds her in a high regard. That was only his second trial. It's a little bit harder taking on the horses that have had a race, but from barrier 7, I can see her just sitting outside the leader somewhere.
And then you've got Lupo Solitario here, the gelding by, of course, the nice sire too, Satona Aladdin.
Yeah, he's a beautiful big horse. I know a couple of the owners have a little share in this horse, and look, they've turned down some pretty serious money for Hong Kong and Australia. They've spec'd him in the 2,000 guineas. He's come into 21s, and look, he had the handbrake on this day. He was only there for a little day outing, and barrier 2 is going to be a big plus for him.
Yeah, certainly the trial very good, and then there's other trialists as well. Like Pericles was excellent. Tell you what, Lanikai at the top of the book has been working the house down too, so it has to be a contender. I've gone narrowly Glamour Tycoon ahead of Lanikai as my top selection. Leith, your thoughts? Yeah,
I've gone Glamour Tycoon, but I wouldn't be surprised if one of these maiden trialists that we've just seen puts their hand up. It's going to be a strong form race. Last season, RB ran 4th, and Good Horse Good Wild Knight was favourite. He ran 6th.
Looks like a strong form meeting, one you do not want to miss. 11:35 a.m. the first race on Saturday, and the first feature, race number 4 on TRB Trackside 1. Yes, best bets time. Reputation on the line. I'm going to start with you, Leith. Who have you found?
Yeah, I'm going to go for Darren Weatherly and Brian Weatherly pair. Look, I know he's got a tricky gate, but like he's a 2,000 guineas winner. He should have won at Counties when in a hot field, and just forget his last race in Sydney. He pulled up a little bit sore, and look, I just love the way this horse runs, and can't wait for Saturday.
I don't think we can all wait for Saturday for the spring. The Ugly Sister for Anna Clements. She's had some really nice horses through her stable last couple of years. I think this might be the best of them. The Ugly Sister, race 6, Awapuni.
I'm going to go for one who's been knocking a little bit, La Dolce Vita, who goes around in rating 75. Company gets on the minimum of 54 kilograms. The form's been pretty good, winning at Rotorua with 3 starts back and then placing in each of the last 3. And I just think this is her time, Sunday at Matamata.
And I'm going for a greyhound on Sunday in the extra meeting code of 2. Race number 2, Apawa Arlo here. He's my best bet. He drops back from the 660 metres back to Monaco over the 527 metres. He just looks like the best dog in that field, and I think he'll get a gun run from the alley. So here's a summary of our best bets. The Wales jumping in with Midnight Dash 2 in the feature meeting on Friday night at the Harness from Addington. Note them down, Poise the My Sky, and Glamour Tycoon as well for Justin. That concludes concludes all of the form today. Good luck to everyone for the weekend. Thanks, guys, for joining us. We'll catch you back next week, and good luck on the punt.